Kia ora class, so welcome to the final video on AS 91046 conceptual design. In this video we're going to be discussing and explaining how to do your final brief and how to explain your conceptual designs for purpose. So what you guys need to do is to look back at the very first page of conceptual design, and you're going to copy what you wrote in your conceptual statement and paste it here. So right back at the beginning, what did you write for your issue and situation, and what did you write for all of your attributes and design requirements? Copy all of that information and stick it on this last page. Some of that information might have changed, or you might have modified a few things. That's a good thing. So if you've made changes, add them in here. So remember, your issue or need, you should be able to answer what you're making, who's it for, why do you need it, when does it need to be completed by, and number two, physical environment, where is it going? So write a sentence answering each one of those. The constraints, think about what constraints you have for this project. So a constraint might be, for example, a budget. You have to make the design for, let's say you're going to make your design for under $40. It can't go over that. It's a constraint. Another constraint might be you don't have access to the workshop currently, so you need to create a design that's slightly easier to make, or to be able to actually produce it in term three. Another constraint might be something around skill. So, for example, if you wanted to do weld parts or components together, you may have to learn how to weld. So that would be a constraint. But down the bottom here, you're going to copy what you wrote originally on your first page for all of your attributes and design requirements. Copy and paste all that stuff over. The last column is the part that you need to update. So cost, if you said cost was a number 3 priority and your budget, your dad said you had a budget of $30, you'd write specifications must be built for $30 or under. Material, so if you originally put material was a high priority and that you wanted to use reclaimed or recycled materials, in your specifications you need to be specific. So you might say this design will use reclaimed pallet timber, or it'll use a 44-gallon drum for the body and some reclaimed railway sleepers for the legs. So be specific about what type of wood and material you're using. The same goes with size. So the design requirement for size, remember in your original brief, it has to fit within a maximum size. So write what size the final design will be. You should know that from your final design. So we know that Marshall's example was 1200 long, 500 high, 600 wide. So write what size your conceptual design will be. The same goes for style. Be specific. So Marshall's example, he said he wanted to have a rustic style. So specifications, he would say, must be in a rustic style. Where it says tolerance, that comes down to your quality. So you can define how accurately you want to make this thing. So you could say you want it to be made within a plus or minus 5 or 4 or 3 millimeter tolerance. So that means all of your measurements must come within that tolerance. You set that yourself, so you decide yourself how accurate you want your model, your final prototype to be. Surface finish, so you need to be specific about how you're going to finish your conceptual design. Are you going to paint it or stain it or oil it? You need to decide what you're going to do. Let's say if you wanted to oil your furniture, you would say specifications to be finished with Miratone furniture oil, or to be painted in black gloss paint. So be specific about what surface finish you're going to do. So that's how you complete the first section here. So you got your conceptual statement, then you have your specifications, and over here you need to describe how well your design meets your brief and how it has the potential to be fit for purpose. If you look back at your assessment schedule, to get achieved, you need to do this last section that says determine the outcome's potential fitness for purpose. So, for example, the learner documents how the conceptual design for the indoor area has the potential to meet the requirements of the brief. So you need to explain how well your design could meet the brief. To get into merit and excellence, you need to justify the potential fitness for purpose. And to get into merit, there is really the merit's going to be the same as achieved. You still need to do this determining your conceptual design's fitness for purpose. But with excellence, you need to justify it. So that really means synthesizing all the information you've found for your whole project. So synthesizing and linking back to your earlier research and back to your concepts and back to all of your stakeholder feedback. So if you can link all that information together, you'll be able to synthesize and justify your conceptual design's fitness for purpose. So remember, fitness for purpose basically means can the design do what it's designed to do? So if you're designing a seat, can it actually hold people without breaking? Or if you're designing a skateboard, can you ride on the skateboard without the thing breaking? Does it work? Does it do what it's designed to do? So let's look back at Marshall's work. You can see that's his original conceptual statement and his specifications. And this is how he has justified how well it meets those requirements. So he said, with my final design, I've created a rustic coffee table for my parents to put in their man cave. It is functional by being able to hold ornaments, coffee, and can even store items underneath because the top lifts up. I will most likely have it done before the end of the term 3, which is well before my scheduled finish date. His design specifications say my table was well within the size limit of 1200 by 600, and the teacher said it was a good size. My design is completely made from recycled materials, including the railway sleepers, 44-gallon drum, and fence palings. The design must be rustic looking, and I think my table fits this perfectly and will look good in our man cave. It must be finished by midway through term 4, and I am mostly done, so we'll probably have it done by the end of term 3, which is well within the time frame. So you can see he has looked back at his brief and justified how well his conceptual design meets his brief. So that's what you need to do. You guys need to write that information in here, and then you need to get your first stakeholder, that will hopefully be your parents, to sign off on the brief, and then send it through to me, and I'll sign off here. And that's it. One more thing I would like to show you. There are some additional resources for you. Here's a full instructional list of how to do conceptual design from start to finish. So this is a resource for you. If you have trouble following these videos, you can read this information as well. It tells you exactly what you need to do step by step, and there's some further definitions around conceptual design, fitness for purpose, and refining the specifications. So that information is all under your files and teams, and that is the end. So good luck, and make sure that you keep me updated as you go. Make sure you send me PDF or images of your work so I can write comments, and you can include that as your stakeholder feedback.